to Saturday morning lecture here with Life Coach Pastor Fiona Laverne. Today we are going to be talking greatly on our life management God's way, on how we are going to improve upon our personality. Personality is something that most people really don't know how to describe, and how, if you don't know how to describe it, then you basically don't know how to improve upon it. But today I'm going to help you understand on how to improve upon your personality. Your personality has to do with your personhood. Like what's on the inside shows up on the outside. And in that, people get a good source or a good sense of who you are. They determine if you're friendly, and if you're kind, if you're nice, if you're easy to get along with. Personality is that thing that allows you to be influenced, or personality is that one of the greatest assets that you and I have. And it can also be a great liability. So today we want to make sure that we talk about some things that can give you an awareness of where you are in your personality. Maybe some people call you mean. Maybe some people say, why you always look like angry? And that can be a glitch, and you're like, I'm not angry. But our facial features, the way we carry ourselves, our eye contact, I'm so glad I wear glasses because people really can't see my eyes, but our positive attitudes and the way we carry ourselves will help people better understand who we are and how they are going to respect us. So our positive attitudes is where we are not being so critical or condemning people, but we have to be kind and tolerable, sensitive and sympathetic in our personality, the way we demonstrate or the way we allow people to determine who we are. And in that, I would just add, that being warm and caring and friendly and generous and having humility and, being a person with tactfulness and be a person of enthusiasm. All of these are part of positive attitudes. And how do you get to be that person of respect, that person of integrity? How does your character prove you to be important? Or how does your personality cause you to be on the outcast, overlooked? Our personality, our day-by-day personality, when people look at us or when people engage with us, it can determine how successful our day. Our positive attitude can basically make or break us. This is, unfortunately, that's just how it is. So you and I have to figure out how we are going to add positive things to us, how we are going to demand self-respect, how we are going to demand an entrance in a room, not with our voice, but with our appearance. So here are some things that you can do to be aware of how to manage yourself God's way and how to manage your personality. And I'm going to talk about the 4 different types of personality so you'll understand how personality works. You'll get along with your kids, you'll get along with your mother-in-law, you get along with people on work if you understand their personality. And here it is. You and I must be able to walk blamelessly, the Bible says, when we are in front of people. We have to be able, people shouldn't be able to look at us and say, oh, they're mean, or they're, all these negative connotations that people bring. They shouldn't be able to look at us without us saying a word and say, ooh, they're nice, nasty. Or when we open our mouth, they determine, ooh, that's an ugly person, beautiful on the outside, handsome on the outside, but everything about you is derogatory and condescending. So we must watch our thoughts. Because thoughts, listen to this now, your thoughts become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions for they become your habits. Watch your habits for they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes how you walk, and it determines your destiny. So being courteous and generous about the things that we say What's on the inside show up on the outside. Treat people how you want to be treated. Bottom line, you have to treat people, excuse me, how you want to be treated. That's personality. And it comes out naturally, or it comes out without us even knowing that, we are acting, becoming, or we're not acting in a certain way. So let me give you some things that can help you in your personality. You have to determine, let me back up. When you walk on the street and you see somebody that's homeless on the street, you and I determine who they are based on where they are and what they wear, or how they smell, or how they look. And in that, it can either deter you or it can draw you in on those type of platforms. So you and I can be drawn in to people based on how they look, how they smell, where they are, but that does not necessarily mean that's who they are. Their personality is the thing that allows you to see who they really are, what kind of interest of a person that they are. Let me tell you something. If you turn your ear to conversation, if you turn your ear to tonality, if you turn your ear to what people say and how people interact with you, you will learn their personality, right? If they are stable, if they are genuine. The key to good friendship and the key to good relationship is for us to determine in our personality and other people's personality, are they genuine? Everybody likes a genuine person, right? And if they're genuine, then you have the ability to communicate with them and express yourself clearly. When you're not around genuine people, it is always a struggle. There's always a pull, either their face or something deters you or deflects you away from them. I was talking to somebody and I was telling them, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. The tonality of your words, your voice can determine your personality. Beautiful, but rough and aggressive and hard and, negative, condescending. All these things have everything to do with your personality. So in your personality, if you want to improve who you are, you have to express yourself different. I'm just saying, you and I have, I'm learning, y'all. I'm not lecturing without this stuff being applicable to my life. I have to learn to tone down some stuff, come on now, and bring up some stuff, or I will be offensive to people who will not gather around my personality, right? I have a tendency, because I am, where I'm from, the island where I'm from, everybody's loud. We're like, la, but it's offensive to some people that are passive or are neutralizing their personality. And I can come off different if they're not familiar with who I am. So I always make a disclaimer when I'm around people. So improving your personality means if you know that you are pretty much rough around the edge, if you know you're loud, if you know you have a wry sense of humor and it's dry, if you know that you can be pretty negative at times, look, make the disclaimer. I apologize in advance. I don't mean to be negative. So if I am, please, charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm working on that. If you tend to be condescending, hey, look, sometimes I can be critical. Please, I'm just giving you a head advance. Help me. I'm not coming at or for anyone. I'm just letting you know about me, because I don't want to be misjudged the wrong way. I'm working on that. There's nothing wrong with telling people who you are and how you know you are, so that when you present those negative parts of your personality, people aren't going to repel you. They're going to be more liable to understand and be more compassionate with you. So one of the things you have to learn in your personality is how to deal with sensitive issues and be tactful with people. I love what the military used to teach us. They taught us to be technically and tactically proficient. That means don't add to it, know what you're talking about, and stick to the points and get through it. So you have to be tactful about how you open your mouth or how your personality is presented. Pull back if you have to. Be quiet if you have to. Smile if you have to. On the inside, everything is bubbling over, but you just can't rush into everything and rush into everybody, because it causes your personality to be viewed in a different way. Never allow your spirit or your heart to be full with pride. I know it all. I got this. I don't need no help. When your personality is like that, nothing's wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But when it's like that, people have a tendency to think that you have a attitude of superiority, that you think you're better than they are, that they don't know nothing. It's not really you. It's how confidently you may present yourself. I know we have to remember, this is about improving your personality, right? So humility is one of those things. If you know I will never dumb myself down. Well, let me tell you something. If you want to improve your personality, it requires that. It calls you to be a queen or a king or a corporate executive or somebody with status and stealth, to walk into a room, be seen, not heard, acknowledged, because people see the air about you that is attractive in your personality. Humility. Enthusiasm. I am an enthusiast. I tell folks all the time, I was not diagnosed as a child, so I have a tendency to be an over enthusiastic, overzealous, a chatterbox. And because I always got something to say, my mind is going a mile a minute, and how I present myself can be overbearing, can be, what should I say? I gotta think of the word. Really like fritzy, or just, I live to see people laugh, but not everybody wants to laugh. So I have to avoid being over enthusiastic for people who aren't people that are normally go-getters. I can be an adjutant. So you have to be aware of how you navigate in your enthusiasm, and be real. We talked earlier about your personality. Enthusiasm, learn to monetize it. Stay surrounded with people that are positive, because if you have a real enthusiastic personality, very go-getter, negative people can really rub you the wrong way, because you're pumping and you're priming, and your personality gets aggravated because you're like, what are you complaining about? Why are you negative? Life is great. But through your eye lens, with your perfect, positive, enthusiastic, bright self, the glass is all the way full. And in somebody else's life, the glass is like barely got water at the bottom. So you and I have to monitor our enthusiasm in our personality. Proper attire is one of the things that tend to treat us according to the way we deserve. Personality has everything to do with dress. Depending where you are, some attires don't fit in, and in the world society, we're like, well, I'm free. I can do whatever I want to do. Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. You can dress however you want to dress. You can talk however you want to do. Just be yourself, right? But in being yourself, you can be an offensive self. You can be the one that is offensive, because people have a certain social acceptance of stuff, and to them that social acceptance is right. But when they view you, they don't view you as socially accepted because of the way you dress. For me, I really don't care how you dress, because I don't judge people by the way they dress. I'm confident in myself to put myself around you. But in some environments, there are people that can't do that. The church is one of them. Some corporate work environments is another one. Militant environments, senior environments, just on the way they have been socially reared, they can likely treat you different and disrespect you based on your attire. So in your personality, check your attire, be whoever you want. I'm pretty conservative, and I'm cool with that. But I've had people say, well, why are you always wearing baggy this or baggy that? And I'm like, well, Hey, am I offensive to you? They're like, no, I just want to know why. They don't dress like I dress. So to them, it may be that my dress personality is a challenge, or my your dress has a personality. Your dress personality, they can't click or they can't get with you. So in that, you have to be real. I'm not saying you have to dumb down or anything like that, but just remember, improper dress at the, what should I say, improper dress at the wrong time creates the perception that your personality is a certain way. When you go, that's why they have semi-formal, formal, street, church. They have sports. That's how the way it is. I remember growing up, and you were not allowed to wear spandex, have your belly out, or anything like that. It was not acceptable for a woman, I'm just using me, to do that. It wasn't respectable for guys to let their pants hang, or to go in a dining facility or a formal place and you wear shorts and a t-shirt or things. Everything has a dress code. I'll just leave it like that. Excuse me. Everything has a dress code. And your personality can be determined by your dress code. Excuse me. Overseas, it's the same way. When I go overseas, I adjust myself to not look like an American. Why? Because I stand out. People in different countries dress different. So when you go there, you can be offensive based on what you wear, what you have on. Just do the cultural check, just to check it out and see what best fits, right? So your personality has a lot to do, or can do, about what you wear. So in your personality, you have to become, in order to be improving on your personality, you have to have the ability to be stable, refusing to allow circumstances and situations to come about where you explode, or you come up. The slang word is that you come up out of yourself, that people see a different part of you. If you're used in the office to seeing your manager calm and good morning, and then one morning they come into throwing the books and they're like, get out of my office, nobody talks to me right now. You're going to be refuting their emotions, and you're going to be like, okay, this is the real person's personality, right? No, it's just a circumstance and situational personality based on the environment that you go through, or produces some type of effect that causes you to respond in a certain way, right? So you have to be stable in your personality in all situations. I am what I am, whether I am in corporate America, whether I'm in a taxi or Uber, whether I'm with my children, whether I'm meeting somebody for the first time. I have developed the stability of my personality. I don't have to shape shift. I don't have to reform anyone, because I've learned to be stable in who I am. I've learned to control my emotions and my passions, and don't let my emotions and my compassions or the environment control me. That is part of improving your personality. If you can switch off like that, you got to check your personality, guys. Just saying. Self-control. Without self-control, we can easily hurt ourselves and hurt others, physically and emotionally. When you have self-control, your inner strength, which is your inner strength, it will not allow your emotions like hatred and jealousy and fear and envy and revenge to weaken your character. I have seen women just lose it, slashing tires and throwing bricks through the window, cursing people out in the Burger King or the coffee line or the Walmart. They just lost. They go in polished, but something just, bam, triggers them. And that is the self-control. In order to improve on your personality, you got to be stable. You got to have self-control. You cannot allow your emotions such as hatred, jealousy, fear, envy, or revenge. He did this to me, I'm gonna get him. They did this to me, and I'm gonna prove something to them. Well, that weakens your character. Your character cannot be weakened, so you have to be a good steward of what God has given you, and that is the energy and the ability to self-control yourself. The self-confidence, all of that comes in the developing your relationship with who you are. And the best way I can tell you about self-confidence is that You do not allow anything or anyone to depreciate you. Self-confidence in your personality doesn't mean, arrogancy or, superiority. No, that's not what self-confidence means. Get this. Self-confidence is when, as children of God, we do not allow anything or anybody to, here we go, to depreciate you. That's your self-confidence. People will use words, people will use accusation, people will use criticism, people will use all kinds of things to bring you down to a level where they depreciate you. If you don't know your own value, if you don't know your own worth, the worst thing you can do is let somebody determine. I know some of us have grown in environments where it said you'll never be nobody, you no good, blah, 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 blah. You'll fail at this. And they have just shaped and degraded, and they have just depreciated you. But I'm here to tell you today, if you have experienced that, then you have to now build up your self-confidence. If you're fat, you're ugly, you're too pale, you're too dark, you're too short, you're too tall, you're like your mama, you're like your dad. I mean, all because these are negative experiences that people have had. And in that, they come to try to rock your self-confidence. Remember, last statement, no one, nothing, anybody, don't allow it to depreciate who you are. Love who you are. I don't care if you're 395 pounds. Love who you are. I don't care if you have no hair, no teeth. Find something about yourself to love, or you will not have self-confidence. Self-shaming, oh my God, this is the thing that has reap through our nations, through our young men, through our young women. I'm not coming for the internet, but I'm saying we have so many vain imagery out there that says this is what you model. If you don't look like this, if you don't talk like this, if you don't dress like this, you are not worth anything. Wrong answer. I have to now, and you have to not allow those things to determine who you are. So you have to manage who your personality is. It's important for you and your personality, right? That you do not fail you. I'm just saying, you cannot fail you. So you have to determine right off the back how unhappy or how happy you are going to be. You have to determine how fulfilled or unfulfilled you are going to be. You have to determine if you're going to keep on accomplishing or you're going to sit down and do nothing, which equals failure in the world system. You have to determine if you are willing to change your personality, not, oh, this is just the way I am, and if they don't like it, that stuff. Well, I'm telling you, the world's not going to like it. People are not going to like some of the things or the way you present yourself. People are not going to do that. People in the world, they don't tolerate, bad personality, if you will. Bad company corrupts good seed, the Bible says. But birds of a feather flock together. A bunch of people that are saying they hang together because why? They don't want to change. They don't want to turn around and set potential new goals to become people of great personality. So you and I have to progress towards that in any way or any means necessary. And you have to provide direction for yourself. What am I going to do? How I'm going to do this? How I'm going to implement this? Okay. If you don't like the way you are, change something. The great thing about being an African American or an immigrant, which I am, but I got all my cards and everything. We're legal, but I'm just saying I'm from another country. But the great thing about being who I am is that I learned to appreciate me, not where I'm from, not who I'm associated with. I learned to love life coach Pastor Fiona Laverne. If I don't like it, if I don't like my hair, I can change my hair. If I don't like my lipstick, I can change it. If I don't like these glasses, how I look that day, I change. I got about 5 pairs. So depending what I like, the importance of setting the goals of what you like and maintaining your goals. Become mindful of you. Come on now. Become mindful of you. Set your goals about you. Set your dreams about you. Capture how you are going to navigate you. Unfortunately, many people today are working on hiding who they are. Many people today are covering who they are. Many people today have multiple lives and multiple personalities. That's who they are. But people are on the edge of who they are. So today, I want to make sure that you have clear direction about your personality, that you understand that you can budget you, that you understand that you can do you, you can value you, you can have future ideals about who you are, shape it, shift it, make it, and be it. That's all I have to say. So you and I are very confident. Let me give you these four types of personality that, you know, there are more, but these are what we have learned about the sanguine and the melancholic and the choleric and the phlegmatic very easily. The sanguine is basically someone that's upbeat, optimistic, that has a very difficulty feeling sad or feeling bad, right? They're very hopeful, very confident, very cheerful, and a good mood. Do you know people like that? Caloric are people that are very logical. They enjoy thinking. They enjoy being in charge. They can be perceived as stubborn or domineering, right? Because they know what they want, they know how to get there, and they are single-minded. That is a caloric type personality, and you have to learn how to navigate. And sometimes these personalities cross, but I'm just giving you the psychological description of certain personalities that you can now realize that it's not the person, it's their personality, the way they conduct, the way they carry themselves, the way they move, the way they navigate, right? And then you have the melancholic type person. That's where these type of people are very pensive. They're very deep, emotional, sensitive people. They feel everything. Everything you say is like a bullet. So you have to watch how you navigate with them. They're normally gloomy and mournful and negative and sorrowful, and they have trouble controlling their anger. They're short-tempered, melancholic. Most of the time, melancholic people, the word melancholic means depressed or sad. And in that type of personality, people have to do a lot of work to help the person think, or if you do have a tendency to sway towards that personality, then you have to realize that, you know, it has to be workable for you. And if you don't like it, then you have to do some things. If it's chemical imbalance, hey, don't be afraid. Go get some mood stabilizers. Do what you got to do. This is the life coach talking to make you more happy, more centered, more pliable, more acceptable with your personality. Remember, this is about improving your person. Don't avoid the obvious. I tell people all the time, if you are explosive, go to anger management. If you are constantly feeling down in your mood, you can't get up and you're sad and you're laying around and nothing makes you smile, go and see a therapist, okay? And from there, they can help you manage, manage some things. Yes, of course, you take if you're a person of faith, you take the faith approach, and if things don't really begin to sway and change in your personality and be consistent, go get the help you need, okay? It's out there. Doctors are out there. God allowed them to go to medical school to assist and help us, right? That's how it is. Then last but not least, the phlegmatic personality. I love the phlegmatic. They're calm, they're reliable, they're always in peace and harmony, they're cool-headed, they're self-assured, they're not backed by anything, nothing takes them back. They're always steady and loyal. I love the phlegmatic personality. So here you have just 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 types of personality. Remember, something you can compare if you're a person of faith. Peter was like a sanguine. Moses was like a melancholic. Apostle Paul was sort of choleric, and Abigail was sort of phlegmatic, always got everything under control. So today we have learned a lot in this lecture, and I hope that you have been blessed these last few minutes about the importance of life managing God's way. God requires that you and I manage our personality. We cannot just go and do anything we want to do and misrepresent him, say what you want to, act like you want to go, because you are representing the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I have to improve, Lord, thank you, on my personality. It will affect your marriage. It will affect your relationship with your kids. It will affect your work environment. It will affect your everyday, the people in your neighborhood, your personality. The person that you are, if it is not contingent for you to continue improving on your values, your goals, your standards, and how you become a better person, then you and I will be subjugated to some very what should I say, harsh environments concerning people in relationship. I want the best for you. Walk blamelessly. Have your personality on check, right? So let me end with this. We must watch our thoughts, how we think, for they become our words, what we say. Watch our words, for they become our action, how we act. Watch our actions, for they become our habits. Watch our habits, for they become our character. Watch our character, it becomes what people see. This is your life coach, Pastor PHEONIA LAVERNE, thanking you for taking time on this Saturday morning. I pray I've been a blessing to you about this lecture. We will be joining on next Saturday. We are going to continue with life management God's way. We ended on improving your personality, and we're going to be hitting the importance of managing your own goals and how to set that. Have a wonderful Saturday. Love you, and God bless you.